no parts of it, because in some way, shape, or form, all y'all motherfuckers is wrong. And y'all all need to sit down and have that conversation. It's not just the man's fault. It's not just the woman's fault. It's not just, grandmother's fault. It's not just grandfather's fault. It's not just mom's or dad's fault. Listen, we are supposed to be coming to a space of understanding, and we're supposed to be trying to connect with one another. We're supposed to be trying to restore and reconcile. And everything that y'all are taking part of, because y'all are not paying attention to the big picture. And the big picture is they using your ass to stay divided, and you're not catching it.
This
You
conversation
know,
is so interesting, brother.
it's the truth.
I just been staying in the comment section observing. I haven't done that in a while. I'm just in a studious mode right now.
Yeah.
So you just said we're divided, right? And
Mm,
we're distracted.
mm.
The real truth is that they have to keep us distracted. Because if they don't, we're gonna realize that the real enemy is beings that look just like ourselves. See? They have the
Yo, okay, okay, all right. I'm gonna try to be quiet.
if they don't distract you, family, if they don't distract you, then we would been wake up and realize the human beings on our planet, they're not intelligent enough to create anything. As I've always said, humans lack a soul, and if you lack a soul, the criteria of a soul is three properties. It has creativity, magnetism, and rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Soul properties are creativity, magnetism, and rhythm, which means if you lack a soul, you lack creativity, you lack rhythm, you can't dance, and you lack the ability to attract or manifest or magnetize things, right? So with that in perspective, if a human does not have a soul, it is silly for us to sit and think that a human being could have created this grand illusion that we're actually living on this system. So the
Hmm.
system was created by a group of beings that we call the Moors, right? The Moors is not what we were told. We were told the Moors were us, but the Moors are not us. See what I'm
They're not
saying? The
us.
Moors are what we call galactic pirates. See what I'm saying? Also known as Saxons. So the Moors is who wrote the Constitution. The Moor wrote the Declaration of Independence. The Moors was the one that wrote the Magna Carta. All this. So if you ever realize when this whole time frame, this work, the job setup, the prices, the fruits, all this going on, the school education, this is all being done by Moors. So that's why you hear them say, "All skin folk is not your kinfolk." So these beings, they look like us, they appear to be like us, but they're definitely far from being us. For example, if you look at the Africans, right? The Africans, the name Africa comes from the Spanish conquistador called Scipio Africanus. So the name of Africa cannot be Africa. That was a colonized name. So before Africa was given that colonized name, was truly called Alkebulan, right? Now, after Alkebulan was conquered by Scipio Africanus, the Spanish conquistador, then it was changed to Africa. However, though, if you ever actually study the genetics, because if you know me, brother, I go off genetics, right?
Hmm.
So if you study the genetics of the Africans versus the genetics of the Atlantean gods, who you call Americans, you'll realize your genomes are completely different. That's because the Africans are who the group of Moors came through the Africans. These are beings in the Bible, you call them the Watchers. When you're reading the Bible, you hear them talk about the Watchers. These are the Moors, because the Moors were a group of species that we allowed to come onto our planet after the planet got invaded. We allowed them to take up space on our planet because their home planet of the Nomos was destroyed. So we allowed them to take up we gave them residence on our planet, and we gave them the continent of Africa. If you actually study the African continent, you realize it has about 54 villages, and each of these villages, the tribes among them, they are not looking the same. Some are freakishly tall, other ones are freakishly short. They have completely strange features. That's because each of them African countries are actually different planets. Yeah, I'm saying each of them. So, for example, Kenya is a planet. Nairobi is a planet. Egypt is a planet. So each of them that came from different planets as a people, we allowed them a space and they retained their planetary names as they turn them into villages or countries on our home planet. They're not from here. See what I'm saying? So when you speak of the Moors are pirates. So the Moors are who came to our planet and basically invaded the planet, and then they used the humans as a fall guy. So what they did was they hide behind the scenes and they called them the Black Nobility. Or you hear them people talk about them as the Illuminati or the Black Caucus. Yeah, I'm saying before you hear about the Caucasians, remember the word Caucasian is really two words put together. It's really Caucus and Asian. So it's really a Caucus Asian. So you have the Caucasian and the Asian is the same species. See what I'm saying? Um, so so after they conquered the realm, you had the Moors that actually set up all the rules for them. The Moors is who gave them spells. The Moors is who we was a group of beings that we set to watch over the human beings as we civilized them. Because when we found them as Caucasians, we named them Caucasians because we found them in the Caucasus Mountains. You know what I'm saying? And when we found them in the Caucasus Mountains, they were still walking on fours. Feel me? So we had to reverse engineer the human being to have them standing upright. Like for example, if you study the human historically, to realize a white woman is straight as shit. They never usually had no curves on them. They were always flat, very skinny women. The reason for this is because to get them to stand upright, it took us 600 years to graft the human beings back to civilization. In the Bible, it tells you 600. It tells you 6 days, but it's each day represented 100 years. It took us 100 years to find the right amount of ingredients to make the human. 400 years to actually graft them, and then the last 100 years to civilize them. So 600 years in total, or 6 days. See what I'm saying? These were the Moors watching over the humans, and basically we gave the Moors the task of civilizing them, helping them to get to the next level so they could communicate with the gods. For example, I also have a video on my channel where you hear me talk about the alphabet. The alphabet, for example, was us teaching the humans, because at this time we were still using the nine senses, which are, seeing, smelling, hearing, tasting, feeling. But then you have the other ones, which are telepathy, telekinesis, clairvoyance, and psychometry. These are your nine senses, right? So the human at the time was only in tune to the physical planet. They could not take on the spiritual planet because they lack a soul, as I said in the beginning. So in order for us to teach them to communicate with us as God beings after we civilize them, we came up with the alphabet. The alphabet is really two words put together, alpha and beta. This is a alpha beta system, because the alpha, which means beginning, we're teaching the beta, which is the new beings, how to communicate with us. So we came up with a simplified system to teach them how to make sounds, and we created symbols, just like how we had hieroglyphs and pyramids. We created symbols and simplified symbols to teach the human mind to catch up to us, because a human only uses 6.5 ounces of his brain. The Asian uses 7.5 ounces of his brain. A God being uses 52 ounces of brain. See what I'm saying? So,
Hmm.
so when you tap into that, you realize that if they was to ever not distract us long enough, we begin to realize, oh shit, these humans are really not powerful enough to do anything. Therefore, they are not your enemy.
Oh my gosh, I swear I'll be saying this. This is nothing but confirmation. I remember going into a room and this guy's really popular. And I ended up saying something to that effect. I was like, he
Like,
asked some type of question. Go ahead.
sorry, brother. I'm just
Go
gonna
ahead. Go
add this.
ahead. Go
Like,
ahead.
if you ever notice, right?
Uh,
Look at a place like Maryland. Look at a popular city, Maryland. Is it not called Baltimore? Who is that? Lord Baltimore, a black Moor, a black conquistador, a pirate. They came from different galaxies and came to a planet. If you look at the Pope, right, or for example, look at every statue in Europe. All these statues are black statues. Why would a country that are filled with all human beings, you know what I'm saying, be praising black people? It doesn't make sense. If it's not black people actually in charge, why are their statues so crazy, right? Then you study the Pope. Why is the Pope always bowing down and kissing a black woman? And the Pope believes for every thousand kiss that they give to this black woman's toe, they get some type of good luck. All this goofy knowledge they got going on.
mm,
See what I'm saying? So
mm,
so so the Moors is really who's really running shit in control. So they put the human beings as a face. They're simply just face, but they're not actually the one that's making the rules and
that's it.
laws. See what I'm saying?
That's
They're
it.
just the face. So the reason why the Moors did that is because the Moors know if we was to actually see them in physical form, we would automatically go back to remembering who the true enemy is. So they use them as a fall guy. So when they know there's a time going to come where we're going to rise up and remember exactly what I'm saying to you. You know what I'm saying? We were all going to come into one accord and remember who the enemy is. When this happens, the Moors is hoping that we take out all this anger on the white people. That's what they're praying for. We've been at war with the Moors on many different planets, on many different galaxies. This is not the first one. You know what I'm saying? This is just
Hmm.
the only one that they've been having control over for so long. See what I'm saying? And the only reason they had it under control for so long is because we have humans that live amongst us that makes us and the humans are so docile and so and
Yes.
not able to take on these higher vibrations. So us living amongst them for all these years taught
Thank you
us
for
how to
that
be
follow.
just like the human and how to operate like a human. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
However, you are a god that came here on your planet, but you're placed on the scale of amnesia. See what I'm saying? And because you were placed on the spell of amnesia, you are a God that
On that.
forgot how to be a God. You know what I'm saying? So you're coming here to have experience to remember what it is to be like a God. Because if you came here with all your senses still intact and remember, this would be a very boring experience for you. There would be nothing to learn. So that's why I say Earth is a school. And if you don't learn all the necessary steps before you actually exit the realm, you always have to repeat the class. See what I'm saying? Just like how when you read the Bible that thing say basic instruction before leaving Earth. You know,
Hmm.
basic instruction before leaving the Earth. So if you don't get that, that's just simply saying to if you don't get your brain on a certain wavelength, like how Neo had to become the one to realize all these things around him. And you just got to click in and realize all these are just illusions. And if I actually tap into self, I would never have to fear a gun because gun is simply kinetic energy. And if I can
On now.
control the mind and control energy, then I can control the pistol and turn that kinetic energy into potential or stagnant energy. It's all science, beloved.
It's all science.
So the humans, because they turned you into a physical being, they made you forget how to control energy or alchemy. So now you fear the gun, but the gun was made from you. So if you think about it, you were made of carbon. We are the carbonated beings. When you look at guns, guns are made of gunpowder. When you shoot a gun till it jam up and you take it to the ballistics for them to fix it, they gonna tell you the gun jammed up because it has a carbon buildup. Where the hell did they get carbon from? Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, beloved. So where are they creating carbon from?
Come on now. Anybody got the answer?
That carbon
Come
definitely
on
coming from a
now.
source, and we are the
That's
source of this
it.
carbon.
That's it.
So when they talk about carbon, carbon is really like, when they talk about dark matter energy, scientists call it dark matter energy. I'm saying they say it's
Yes.
a phenomenon. So in the
Hmm.
ethereal realms, dark matter energy, as it lowers in dimension, it becomes neuromelanin. The neuromelanin becomes carbon. These are all the same thing, but at different vibrations in the atmosphere. So the highest vibration of it would be dark matter. You know what I'm saying? We are pure dark matter energy. That's what they talk about with the whole kundalini energy and all that. The kunda gland,
Hmm.
the kundalini energy comes from the kunda gland. The kunda gland
Hmm.
sits at the base of the spine. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
The reason why they call it kunda glands because actually kundalini energy because it's shaped like a serpent. And if you
Hmm.
actually was to look at your brain while your brain is attached to your spinal cord, it literally looks like a cobra.
Yeah.
Literally, if you were to go on Google and type in, what I'm saying, the brain while it's attached to the stem with the spine and everything, that shit looks like it's a cobra. That's why you also, if you see them Egyptians, the pyramids, the pharaohs, you see them pharaohs with some type of snake on top of his head with a big hat, but at the bottom you see a long ass chin. That long ass chin that you see represents the tail of the cobra, and that big ass thing that you see at the top represents the cobra's head, because they knew and understood that the serpent represented wisdom, but they taught you that the serpent represent evil.
Evil.
See what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's the same way they
Hmm.
told you you shouldn't believe in demons. But demon is a feminine energy.
Come on.
They didn't tell us that. See what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So they talk about you have seven chakras, but if you look in the body, that seven chakras is really the main points of 144 different electrical spots in the body. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Yes.
so when you break down these spots, the 72 of these 144 spots are what they call these 72 demons or 72 titanic beings, your titanic spirits, your demonic spirits. These are feminine energies that you can call upon at any given time. It's like how you call on, they got you calling on Jesus, right? They got you calling on Muhammad and all that, right? The same way you can call on all these angelic beings that's within you. You know what I'm saying? 72 of them. That's why you see, I told y'all 2 years ago, this COVID vaccine, right? They're gonna hit you with 72 different versions of it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna go to the Zeta,
Hmm.
the Omicron, the Delta,
Yep.
all these, but they don't tell you that nobody sitting back and say, yo, well, these names, right? If humans can't create nothing, if humans lack a soul, like I'm saying, where the hell is they get the name from? Like Omicron, Zeta, Delta, Beta, where these names coming from? Now,
Hmm.
if you was to just look up the Sirius star system, the Sirius galaxy, right? You'd notice
Hmm.
all these names that I just listed that they coming up with and think they're being original
That's
for
it.
COVID names. These are actual names of planets in the Sirius star system,
Yes.
right around Sirius A and Sirius B.
Hmm.
These are just names of planets. See what I'm saying? So what's really happening is when COVID-19 was happening, they was telling you COVID-19 was cold. They were simply saying that the beings from the 19th galaxy are entering onto your planet. And every time you see a new strand coming, what they were actually doing is giving codes to each other as elites. We're sending codes to themselves saying, yo, the beings from Omicron is now joining into the fight. Now the beings from Zeta is joining into the fight. Now the beings from Delta, now they're not entering onto your planet. These are all
Hmm.
just warning signals. See what I'm saying? They were talking in codes. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about just dive into the names, man. Don't just skip
Hmm.
over the names of when they talk about what they talk about. You know what I'm saying? This is word magic. This is English. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? A
Yep.
language that was created for spells. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We designed the language. We designed the alphabet, as I broke down to you earlier. We created the alphabetic system as a primitive way for humans to speak because they couldn't activate enough portion of the brain to actually function on using telepathy. They can't use vibration. This is the reason why they want to tell you it's illegal for you to be talking to dolphins. See what I'm saying? Why on earth would
Hmm.
somebody has a real law? Like, you got to laugh at these things. Like, why on
Right.
earth you have somebody have a law as a government law that you can't talk to a dolphin? They got what? Who come up with that? Something got to be up with that. See what I'm saying? So what I'm telling you is, when I remember them Africans I mentioned earlier.
Hmm.
So them Africans, many of them came here through their genetics. When their planet got destroyed, how we transferred their genetics to this planet was through the water, and it was through the whales and the dolphins that brought them here. The whales and the dolphins are actually an ancient species called the nomos. You know what I'm saying? And the nomos are those whales and dolphin species, but there's also another water being species called the nagas. If you look in India, you'll find a bunch of pictures with beings that have snake bottoms and human type heads. These are the nagas. You know what I'm saying? So the nomos and the nagas are all beings from different galaxies, and after their planet got destroyed, they started inhabiting the African continent. So the Atlantean gods of
Mm,
America is
mm,
not the
mm,
same as
mm.
the African gods that's showing up down there on that continent. See what I'm saying? We're two different species, two different
Mm,
species,
mm, mm.
beloved.
Y'all,
It
a
get
lot of
deep,
this.
bro. It get
Oh, I
deep, bro.
know, I know, I know. And my response was, yeah, yeah. Yep. This is the type of information. This is the type of information.
Yeah,
This
so
is the information, y'all.
when you hear brothers walking around talk about their Moors, they lost. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They're lost.
Right.
They just don't know who the Moors truly was. If they truly understood that the Moors was the ones that went against us after we gave them opportunity to, they came posing as if they was one of us, because, they look like us. See what I'm saying? But they're not from this planet, just like this, All right, the Moors was pirates, right? When they came here, they went to war with the pirates of the Caribbean. I'm sure you see they make movies about the pirates of the Caribbean, right? But what they don't tell us, right? What they don't tell us though, my
Come on,
brother,
y'all.
is that the pirates of the Caribbean was all women. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah,
Woo!
yeah. They
That's
didn't tell
it.
you that. They didn't tell you that. So this is Earth. This is planet Key. So anciently Tiamat is really a feminine planet. That's why you see all this
Hmm.
waters here. Women
Yeah.
always deal with the water, the wetness. See what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So
Hmm.
water, planets that's filled with water are usually feminine planets. There was no men on this planet at first. It was all females. Just like
Hmm.
how I spoke to you about on another video. I told you how California got its name from Queen Calafia, which was a feminine goddess that they've even made a movie about called new series called Wonder Woman, that she was flying and control all the superpowers. Where they got that from? They got that from literally seeing Queen Calafia doing these things in real life. See what I'm saying? They
Hmm.
made movies like Thor, watching African Orishas like Shango playing with fire and lightning in real life.
Hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So these are where they're getting all these little movies from by literally watching us doing these great things. When you see them talk about things like Godzilla and they make movies and the Titanoboa and all these big gators, right? But when you think about Tartaria, these are the Titans. See what I'm saying? So the Earth, to defend itself after we were getting invaded, the Earth itself, Tiamat, manifested these beings that were before the Anunnakis. These are called the Titans. They're more ancient than the gods. See what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So they were here
Hmm.
before the Atlanteans. So these were beings that actually were manifested by planet Earth herself. Like, like
Primordials.
how when you watch there's an old cartoon called Captain Planet, and it would be like heart and the wind,
Hmm.
fire, and
Hmm.
I'm saying, and the planet itself, after they combined themselves, the planet itself was
Hey
summoned
there,
this great
Mecca.
being.
How you
See what I'm
doing?
saying? This
Hmm.
great being would get
Thank you
summoned.
for
So
being
it's the
here.
same way how the planet herself, after we were being invaded by the Pleiadians, the Reptilians, the Arcturians, and these Moors that were planetary invaders, right? Now they sided because they couldn't take us on by themselves. See what I'm saying? They knew how powerful we was, so they had to gang up on us, and they come in peace. That's where they get this whole theme of this. We come in peace, brothers, because they knew approaching us in war, we would have wiped the ass out. You know what I'm saying? We talk about the most powerful beings in this form of this universe, this multi galaxy. We run this shit over here. So to gang up on us and to get us to knock us off our pivot, they ganged up in groups. You know what I'm saying? And they came in peace and they say they just want to learn from us. You know what I'm saying? They just want to study with us. They want to, we're so great, and they want to see how what makes us the way we are. So they
Hmm.
came amongst us for years, and as soon as the Moors was the first ones that started, falling in love with the humans. They started sleeping with the humans, just like how they told you stories in the Bible of how the
Hmm.
Watchers
Hmm.
came down and found human women to be beautiful and fair. Then they started having sex with human women. These are not
Hmm.
no random angels, my brother. These are the Moors. This is just them writing in their books, telling us, spinning the story, making it more
Right.
goofy than what it actually
Right.
is. But these are actually the Moors. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Planetary pirates that came to our planet. You know what I'm saying? And then basically seeing these women as beautiful. These are women of Tiamat, or women was always beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So the women of Tiamat was here when these Moors came and saw them as beautiful as they were. They started raping our women. Raping, I should say, because this is TikTok. You know what I'm saying? They start raping our women and whatever. And that's how you hear these stories about. They start lying to you, talk about how the Moors and this mixture created Nephilims. Lies. You know what I'm saying? No, the Nephilim means something, but the Nephilim don't mean giants. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing they lied to us about. They said that these watchers came down, had sex with women, and all of a sudden we got giants. Human women don't give birth to giant beings. See what I'm saying? It don't make sense, man. They're small beings. How can they give birth to 30, 40-foot beings? Where would they come out of? What a vagina pushing that out? It don't make sense.
Right.
See what I'm saying, bro? So you talk about when these Moors came down as watchers and that would start taking sexual intercourse with these women. The
Hmm.
Nephilim that they told you about in the Bible, the word Nephilim comes from the word Nephal. Nephal means to fall. So when you put im on any Hebrew word, it makes it plural. So Nephalim means the fallen ones, meaning a group of fallen beings. So this has nothing to do with giants. See what I'm saying? You got to. That's why I study etymology of words. You feel me, brother?
Yes.
So when you say Nephilim, Nephal means to fall, and Nephalim means a group of fallen beings. So you're speaking of the being that they call Lucifer and his host that went against creation and went against nature, who they call Zeus or Yakub. And you start engineering beings and start creating all these strange type beings. You have beings with half man and their head look like a cow, top of them look like a goat with a hoof at the bottom. These weird creatures was what Zeus started coming up with. See what I'm saying?
Mm.
The name Zeus is short for Jesus, which is where you get the name Jesus from. See what I'm saying? Um, huh. Yeah, let me just go over when the Moors came and they started going to war with us in the Caribbean. They came across these feminine energies. These were pirates. For example, when they talk about Captain Barbosa, it's not Captain Barboso. It's Captain Barbosa. It's a feminine woman. She's a female energy. It's a bunch of them, and they would take the war to the Moors, and they was giving the Moors hell. You know what I'm saying? So when you hear them talk about the in the 700s and all that, our Spain and the Moors went to war. Nah, man, that was us going to war with them dumbass Moors for going against us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For playing with us
Hmm.
the way they did. So what the Moors started doing, because the Moors knew after studying coming amongst us and try to learn from us, they realized our source of power came from the fact that we had two suns and we had these ancient giant trees. You know what I'm saying? So because we had two suns was the reason why we could grow so tall, because we never had a break, we never had a nighttime. So
Come
all our
on.
trees would get anciently big, or fruits would get anciently big. We would get totally big as hell because we never stopped growing because our sun never stopped shining. See what I'm saying? So we never had no nighttime. So it was after the Moors conquered the planet and used spells and magic on us, they use a Mukerba and ancient
Hmm.
technology with plasma and push away your sun. That's why
Hmm.
you have a sun that's within our planet called the black sun. See what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah.
I'll get to the black sun
That's
in
co-
another time. You know what I'm
that's
saying? 'Cause that's a
connected
whole
to.
topic by itself. But
Yeah.
black sun is actually for real. This black sun is what charges up our regular sun, and it's also
Yep.
what charges up our regular moon. You know what I'm saying? That's the real
Hmm.
true source.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
also what reflects what they call gamma radiation. So gamma radiation gives off green light. You know what I mean? That's why also you also hear me say, yo, black people got green veins, which comes from gamma radiation because you're literally getting charged up from the gamma rays of the sun. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So when they pushed away your sun, it created a nighttime for us. That first weakened us, and then the last thing they did for the next thing they did was they started cutting down our ancient trees. If you watch movies like Avatar, in the
Hmm.
movie Avatar Part One, you would see how we had these ancient trees, and how when we walk on our planet it was so magical that the planet itself would light up. You know what I'm saying? Or trees were so big, brother, we could walk from one tree and go from state to state while staying
Hmm.
inside trees. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's how huge they were. So right now we got mountains and tree stumps right now. That's really where the mountains that you see right now are really the stumps or the bottom of the trees that was cut down. So
Hmm.
we were told wrong about mountains. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as a mountain. There's really tree
Hmm.
stumps that was cut down of ancient trees or ancient energy beacons. For
Hmm.
a lot of times when you see stuff like where you see churches, where you see major cities, you know what I'm saying? These
Exactly.
were where
Exactly.
ancient trees was, because trees are energy beacons of the planet. So
Hmm.
electricity comes directly from the earth. Lightning and electricity, like you always hear me say the same thing. Lightning comes from the ground. So trees act like energy towers. So what they would do is they would cut down the trees, and where that tree used to be, they now build cities over it. So for example, when you see like a New York City that's so congested, a lot of these skyscrapers are not paying an electric bill. I want you to know that they're harnessing free energy from the ground. It is still going on right now. See what I'm saying? Free
Mm.
electricity coming from the ground. So you see churches. Like for example, when you look at most of
Military
these,
bases too.
exactly, bro. Like look at a city like Area 51. Look at Las Vegas, Nevada. Like
That's
this
it.
is in the middle of a desert, bro. It's in the middle of a desert with a casino and all of that. Where the hell is electricity coming from in the middle of the desert? It's coming from the ground.
That's
You see
it.
what I'm saying?
That's
Look at
it.
Dubai. Look at Dubai, bro. Dubai is in the middle of a desert. Where's the energy coming from? Where's the electricity coming from? The ground.
Hmm.
So these boys are not paying an electric bill.
I like to make the analogy of, you know how if you have socks and you rub them on a carpet, you're charging your energy, right? And
Friction.
you go touch something. That's how I explain that to people. You know, if the earth is an energetic being and we're energetic beings, as within so without, that means the earth has a core too, right? Or it produces electricity as well. So it's not so far fetched to believe that electricity comes from the ground if we're looking at it from that perspective. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
I
My
mean, they call
goodness.
it ground wire.
Come on, y'all.
And they do tell you to go ground yourself. You know, I'm saying they told us we get cell phone power from satellites. That's what they said, right? But let me ask you a question though, because I know we get cell phone power from these towers that we got. Because as soon as you go in the woods, man,